Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. Let's talk about the latest episode of Titans. It was called Lady Vic, and it starts off with a lady drinking Earl Grey tea while observing two cops in love in a diner. She then kills them both in the parking lot and just takes off. Next thing we see is Blackfire arriving at Wayne Manor with her sister, and she calls it quaint. And she thinks that Connor is her assigned boy toy / servant. And her sister has to explain to her that that's not how things work on Earth. Then we see a flashback to 6 years previous. Dick, as Robin, interrupts an apparent robbery that turns out to be Barbara robbing the place because she's demonstrating flaws in the security system, I guess. I didn't really get that, but that's what the dialogue says. They go for a drink together, and Dick proposes that she become Robin Girl after saying she was taking a risk behaving like Selena, who is, of course, Catwoman. The two of them then seem to go rob a museum or a jewelry store, which we see them enjoying the spoils of in the aftermath, before Barbara seems to inflict a wound upon Dick before he wakes up from the flashback, which I guess was a dream, with a GCPD bullet wound. Beast Boy reads Dick the riot act for almost getting killed, and Dick goes to talk to him. Crane and Jason oversee an apparent drug cooking operation that they have going while strategizing, and Crane shows him a surgery in progress somewhere, I guess the local hospital, as the lady from before bursts in and kills the surgeons on Crane's orders, it turns out. After which, Crane tells Jason that he's expendable. In other words, she does my bidding, she could kill you, don't think you're any great shit, and you better follow my bouncing ball, basically. Dick and Starfire go to investigate the attack on the surgeons, only to be rebuffed by the cops on Barbara's orders. So Dick goes and visits Barbara, and he asks her to use Oracle, which I guess in this continuity is a computer or a type of software that she used back when she was Batgirl. But she declines and seems to indicate that it's a dangerous technology. Connor and Blackfire have a chat, and she explains that she was an outcast because she didn't have the firepower that everybody on the planet, I guess, had. While that's happening, Starfire finds a doctor strapped down to a table with a heart bomb attached to them in a lab that they're investigating, and Connor is able to successfully disarm it this time, unlike with Hawk. When they go back outside from the lab, they find that Blackfire has taken off on her own while they were busy. Dick and Beast Boy have a conversation about what went wrong with Jason and whether or not he can be redeemed, and they decide that it remains to be seen. The next thing we see is that a hidden phone, a phone that Barbara had hidden in her office, goes off, and she hears Bruce's voice ask to meet her somewhere. He also asks her not to tell Dick. Dick, meanwhile, is studying the audio footage from the attack on the surgeons, and he comes up with a profile of who the woman is with the help of Beast Boy, and he determines that it's Lady Vic. We again flash back 6 years where Dick and Barbara are robbing a museum or a jewelry store again, and they get attacked on this occasion by Lady Vic and I guess an accomplice of hers. Back in the present, Barbara is rolling herself down an alley, but I don't think it was really Bruce that called her as I'm watching this. And it turns out that it wasn't. It was Lady Vic who had laid a trap for her. She attacks Barbara, they fight, which is kind of an interesting scene because Barbara's in a wheelchair, but she still is able to kind of like fight back. Actually, she causes Lady Vic to run away in a flashbang blast, but not before she takes a close-up picture of Barbara's face for some reason with her phone. We don't know what that's about just yet. The last thing we see is that Jason has taken a supply of the drug from the cooking operation that we saw earlier, even though he was told it wasn't ready, and he gives it to some guys, and they go into a restaurant and they kill a bunch of people while he kind of just watches in a very creepy way, like emotionlessly, and then takes a hit of the inhaler himself, and that's how the episode ends. I didn't think too much of this episode. It really didn't give us any more of the story that we've seen so far. It kind of gave us backstory on Dick and Barbara, but it was confusing. Like, what the hell were they doing robbing places and keeping the jewels and stuff? Like, what was that? And I just didn't see what the point of this episode was. It kind of just was a bunch of random occurrences. I mean, obviously Jason is off the deep end at this point. Well, not that he wasn't already, but I guess we're seeing more of how off the deep end he is. I guess we're also seeing that he and Scarecrow are not entirely on the same page, that there's sort of dissension between them as to what they should be doing. And I don't know where that's going to go. So we'll have to see. But I didn't think much of this episode, like I said. But I'll be back with a review of the next episode once it drops. Until then, I'm going to take off. And again, I say peace and long life.